Hello, everybody. Welcome to our artificial intelligence, putting the I into AI to make your marketing all about you. My name is Peyton Morheson, and I am a marketing strategist here at Southern Trust, and I'm excited to present this to you today. Some general housekeeping. If you have questions, feel free to add them into the chat. I love talking to people. I love that so many people have their cameras on. So if you have questions, feel free to unmute and ask away. Otherwise, you're just going to be hearing me blab on for another hour. So feel free to ask questions. We love to hear them. And then a recording will be sent out after today's training. So if you miss anything, want to look back, you can refer to it at a later time. So let's go ahead and get started. So we'll start with getting in that chat with a little poll. Has anybody here used any AI tools, whether it be ChatGPT, Gemini? I know a lot of different platforms like Canva have AI tools in there. Has anybody used any AI tools? And if you have, either like raise your hand, throw them in the chat, suggest them if you've got them. Awesome. Seeing a few guesses, hopefully good experiences all around. Awesome. Okay, great. So looks like we have a lot of people who have some experience with AI. Hopefully, all good experiences. Um, what we're going to start with today is some common errors and what not to do. So, hopefully, some people with your experience of using AI, you've kind of figured out the do's, the don'ts, the good and the bad. But I'm going to share a few of the common things of what to avoid when using AI that I have found in a few simple Google searches. The first is a lack of proofing. These are some property descriptions that I found online that are clearly AI, and these people did not take the time to proof what they were putting and publishing before they made them live. A kitchen featuring a sink, healthy amount of sunlight just kind of reads weird. A bathroom featuring tile floors and a toilet, like I would hope so. I'd hope that it has that in there. Those are all things that people would assume are in a property. So we don't necessarily need to do that, or like reading them before we make them live is really the big thing here. Otherwise, it just kind of takes away your credibility. It makes you look a little silly if you're having that in here. So definitely with anything that you're doing with AI, please take the time to proof. And if you're a little busy or when in doubt, have somebody review anything that you are using with AI, make some changes and adjustments before you send or publish anything. The next that I'm finding is how people are using image editing with AI and completely altering or making it something completely new. Um, because fun fact, AI can edit images. We're seeing them floating around on social media. And this example is from a real Reddit thread. Some buyers posted this showing that they saw a listing with their agent. They showed them the house on the left. It looks really cute. It's a cute little shade of blue. It's some nice shutters and plants in the front. When they go to look at the property, they go to the house on the right. It's completely different. They are confused. They have no idea what's going on. Um, and the agent is who's okay with showing them that. So again, let's take the time to like look at what we're doing and look at what we're sharing people and posting online, because of course that property on the left is going to make a great Facebook post. But the post that they're going to post after they go look at that house is not going to look great for you. All right, seeing some people in the chat. And something else to note is when that agent posted it, that street number isn't even right. So again, take the time that if you are going to edit, we're going to do it right. After, in the next few slides, I'll show you some examples of some minor, subtle changes that you can do to enhance the property without making this property look like a completely different house. But I'm going to show you one more example of image editing that I found online that was from an actual listing that they felt that it was okay posting. Um, First glance, what catches your eye? I'm sure you can kind of catch a few things with this little I Spy picture of what's wrong with this listing. Drawers are missing the actual drawer itself. The microwave's on fire. We have wind chimes inside. I don't even know what's real or what's fake with this property. Um, so again, even if this is the property, maybe don't post that in your listing, but there's a very good chance that this one is AI, and to review them again before you're posting that with your listing on social media or sharing that with buyers. Does somebody have a question? All good. All right. So instead, we're going to do this. I mentioned enhancing listing photos. So from that first example, instead of posting the first changes that you see that just looks like a great house, we're going to enhance it. So I did these all in Canva. So very simple and easy ways that we could do this. Changing the lighting to make the house look in a better light. Removing minor unwanted elements in this picture, I removed all that junk on the side of the house just to really clean it up and allow the image to focus on the property. And again, highlighting the best parts of this property. So then when the buyers or clients show up to the house, they're going to see exactly what you want them to see. So, following suit with that first example, it is very common for anybody in really any industry to use an AI tool like Chat or Gemini to write emails. And I'm definitely guilty of doing this. I don't know if anybody else is as well. Um, but the biggest thing is to make sure that we're proofing these emails. So, this is an example email that I was sent. And it is all over the place. This person did not even take the time to read it before they sent. Um, but this is a really common thing that we're seeing between these emails. So if you do this and you are sending these emails, again, make sure you're proofing them, see what you're sending before you actually send it, especially if it's to a buyer. Instead, you could again send it to somebody to review it or use a tool like Grammarly to review anything that you send before sharing, just to make sure that you're putting it in the best possible light. I'm going to share a quick little video to kind of help show how you can use ChatGPT or Gemini, or really any other AI tool to help send an email. There is no sound, so I'll just kind of walk through it. So you can use the tool again, adding any information. The more information you put into an AI tool, the more it has to work with to build out exactly what you want. So in this example, it asks to send out an email as well as an important timeline to send to this client and a checklist that you could have and share as well. Again, everybody is different, every situation is different. The AI tools work with the information that you're putting in there. So it is retaining these past queries that you're sending to continue building out what you're sending. So as you use it more, it'll come more into your tone of voice, more of what you're looking for and what you're using. But again, review it first because it's going to apply to those past transactions or those past questions instead of what you're looking for this specific time. All right. So I went over a few of the common themes and errors that we've seen with people utilizing AI. So I wanted to share just a few more to make note of and keep in mind as you're using these AI tools, and some things that people are doing or not thinking about as they're using AI more. The biggest thing is lack of personalization. A lot of these AI results are lacking that personal touch, which again is taking the you out of the AI or marketing you're doing. So again, make sure that you're really adding any personal touch. Think of AI as the starting point for anything you do, and we'll kind of go through some more examples as well. But you can use that, add more personal touches to really get it to reach that maximum effectiveness. Um, in that last example I did mention with there is some bias that you do find with AI that you have to quote unquote train them to find and get the results that you're looking for. The more you use them, the more it stores that data for future responses. But something cool that I found is that if you use between Chat GPT and Gemini, and I'll talk about that more as well. Gemini is backed by Google, so it uses those Google results as well, and can help use that in some of your search responses. Another error is that there's a over dependence and over reliance on AI. More and more people are letting AI completely take over what they're doing, which I know was a really big fear at the beginning of AI coming out, was that AI was going to completely take over everyone's jobs. So we don't want to allow AI to do that. We don't want AI to make any final decisions because, again, it is still an artificial intelligence. It's a computer. and we want to focus on making those personal connections. And lastly, for some businesses, some companies, there is a data and privacy concern. Um, Limit what you're providing that generator. You don't want to add personal information to about your buyers into here. Again, it is just a website tool, so we don't want to put too much in there. And again, lastly, just remember that AI is a tool here to help you, not take over your job completely. So before I continue on of some things that we can use AI to help us with, does anybody have any questions so far? I haven't seen any in the chat. Feel free to put in chat or unmute. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and keep going.
Hey, Peyton.
Yes.
So, have you ever tried using the voice to chat? Like, actually using the voice inside the computer, telling him exactly what you're trying to do? Because I can totally talk in a paragraph form and then have them articulate it into what I'm actually trying to say.
Mhm.
It's pretty neat. And it also helps them understand your voice and your tone better. Have you ever tried
Yeah.
it?
I haven't tried it with my preferred tools yet. I'm still kind of slowly expanding more and more, but it is really cool, the capabilities that AI has, and that is a great example. I don't have a slide on that, but I do have a few extra slides, so I'm glad that you added that, so now gives everybody a little bit more to add. But yeah, anything that you can do to personalize your AI will then give you better results down the line.
You said your preference. What is your preference?
I like Gemini. I mentioned that Gemini is backed by Google. I call Gemini, she's like my best friend. I call her a girl because I talk to Gemini every single day. But yeah, I use Gemini. I like that it's backed by the Google results. You see, like when you type in Google now, it gives you the AI suggestions. And I would like to thank Gemini for that. So I just kind of started that way, didn't make me log in.
You have a
Dennis,
question, Dennis?
Yeah, I don't know how to put the hand up on this, Sam. Sorry. So I
all
just did it
good.
that
We
way.
see you.
Just real quick, I mean, I know Chat GPT, I've only used the free version, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Is there, or even Gemini, does they have a free version? So is it make sense to maybe pay whatever it might cost to get the real version, perhaps? I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, I mean, it depends. I would say yes, especially if you are trying to use it as a repository for like a thing. Like if you're a real estate agent and you're using it to have your tone and your voice from your listing descriptions to, your emails to your clients, to your past clients, all of that, it will help to, if you're on the paid version, it takes all of that and creates like this extra you versus the unpaid version is a little bit it doesn't give you the same kind of like personal interaction, and it's not very, I mean, I think there's what, the $8 a month for the paid version. I mean, it can go up way higher than that, but it's not crazy expensive. It also helps, if you're not, you can use some of the images like she talked about in a couple slides before. You can upload images to it, and it can also help you to edit those if you don't have Canva. It's kind of one or the other for that part.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think if you haven't, for some people on the call who haven't dabbled into AI yet, definitely check out the free versions first before you expand into paying for anything. I just use the free Gemini and it kind of serves what I need, but again, it just depends on what you're looking for. Play around with it, and then if you need to take it a step further, I definitely
Uh-huh.
suggest paying. Again, it's not a huge cost. Good questions. All right. So we will keep going on. So AI is still a good resource. I know I kind of talked about some of the bad and scary examples, but it can be a really good tool when used effectively. So let's talk about how AI can be used to personalize your professional brand effectively and some things that you can be doing. One of my personal favorites is with content creation. And that little green box at the top was what I asked Gemini to create for me was a social calendar to outline the month of September for trending informational real estate posts to help me grow my business. And she outlined everything. She gave me the holidays, when I should post, some things I could be doing, and it just kind of gives you a reference or a starting point. But then you could take that a step further and take some of those prompts. Like, for example, it mentions a reel and creating a reel, um, talking about something, or maybe you want it to be a reel instead of a post. You can take that, ask it to create a script for you, and she'll give you a little bit, of a very detailed outlined one. Maybe you don't like, that was just a lot for me. So I took that again, used that as a starting point, and created a script that I could upload into a teleprompter app, or, use, review, memorize my script, and create a reel to get started, to allow you to take, that guesswork of what content we should be creating, and then personalizing it, putting your own spin, and putting that on social media. So this is a great resource, especially if you know you want to get more social, you're really not sure where to get started. Using AI is a great starting point for you. I want to also include some little AI tips as well, to help you adapt your style and preferences. So again, you don't have to keep repeating your instructions because it will start to memorize and change its tone of voice to match what you're looking for. It keeps your work consistent, helps you build personal playbook that the AI can follow, and will overall be able to create more accurate results that you're looking for. So the first is be specific. Tell AI exactly what you're looking for and what you want it to do. It will try its best, again, like Wendy mentioned with the paid version. It's going to remember all of that. So if you ask it to, like, remember, this is my standard how I like to start off my videos, it will remember that and start to create that similar tone of voice. Be as consistent as possible. I could not tell you what I asked Gemini and how I asked it last week. But again, using the same consistent tone of voice, the same wording, or format for some of these things that you're doing, and it'll start to remember and create those things that you're wanting. You could use examples. I do that a lot, putting examples of what I see or what I'm looking for, or phrases, and maybe ask it to reword phrases or create something similar to this phrase, and using that to give it help to give it exactly what I'm looking for. Updating as needed, making sure that if it does remember your results, asking it to forget it so it doesn't continue using some old format that you're no longer working for. Um, and then again, I don't know why being consistent is on there twice, but using short prompts, will also help. It doesn't need to be super long, giving it long, detailed instructions like how I would have to give my boyfriend on how to do the dishes. It remembers it. It's really good with that, and it will begin to create those prompts as needed. And something else is image editing. I know I had mentioned it in one of those first few slides about how you can use AI to help edit your images, very simply and easily without completely altering the image that you're creating. So it's still the same person or the same thing. I used my headshot that was taken when I joined as an example to show you some things that you can use with, and I just did this in Canva, to use AI to edit those images so I can use that for my marketing. Let me get this person. The first is the background remover. So if you're using Canva to create pieces, or maybe you're using an outside tool to create them, but you want a transparent photo that you can plop on to kind of have you in the corner hovering, without the grassy background, there is a background remover tool. So that's really great for flyers, social posts, or other marketing pieces. The magic edit tool, I use that actually specifically in that last example as well to remove certain pieces that I didn't want in the image. And this one, I just changed the color of my shirt to not be pink anymore, to be a more neutral brown, but that's up to you of how you want to change it. You just type in your prompts. And lastly, you can expand the background. So maybe the picture of the house that you have is super close up and you want to expand it a little bit more to have more background. AI can help you do that too, without coming off as too much like AI, which is a great tool to have. So before we wrap up, I wanted to share a few things that you could be doing outside of just asking AI prompts and questions and getting results. But things that you could be doing to avoid being presented as a bot on your social platforms or online. Trying to personalize this buying experience as much as possible. Again, the biggest goal is to avoid feeling like a bot or spam when people are discovering you online. Um, I was told that our social media is kind of like one of those 24/7 billboards that are always up and always present in front of people that you don't actually necessarily have to pay for. So we want to make sure that it is up to date and as personalized as possible. So then if people were to find you, it's exactly how it should be. The first and easiest thing that you could be doing if you have a Google or a Facebook business profile is to update your hours. For some people, they keep it as 24/7, which is great. However, you're probably going to sleep one or two times in between there. So just making sure that your hours are a reflective of like what you're working. If you are having it showing as closed over the weekend, but maybe you are working. We'll go over this in a few, but you could also post updates on your social media platforms of when you are working over the weekend so then people know and are up to date. But this shares realistic expectations of your general availability because, again, you are human, you're not an AI robot. You do take breaks and sleep every once in a while. So, again, making sure that that's up to date for people who are to find you online. Also, a quick little plug for our mobile app. It is a great way to provide around the clock support because we have in app communications. It can be co branded so your information is presented to them. If it is in there and you're sharing it, you can get quick and easy pre approval letters and also real time loan scenarios. So that's just a great tool to have. So if they do have that on their phones and you're sharing that, and you are in one of those little break periods, you're asleep, you're taking a lunch, or on vacation, that just gives them another tool to have support whenever they need it. And I just threw up a few examples of some working this weekend posts that we have created and made available for our team. Um, Definitely feel free to take some inspo for sharing onto your pages, or we can happily share these examples with you as well. But again, if you do have in your hours that you don't work throughout the weekend, you just do it when you're able to. This is a great example of something that you could be sharing to keep your audience up to date with any changes to your normal business hours. You can use an image, you could take a photo and use some organic photos. Those tend to perform really, really well. But just keeping everyone informed of what your availability is, just so there's no miscommunications and everyone knows where you are. Another great and easy thing that you can be doing to increase your reach is using Reels. They have higher engagement, higher reach, a higher audience retention, and really easily gets your message across because typically sometimes with uh, wording or just a whole bunch of words on the screen, people just get lost in translation. So it's a really easy way to get your message out there and again, reach more people. Plus, if you do want to opt in to spend a little bit of money, you could boost them and then get an even higher reach, which then again personalizes who you are, puts that on social media, and hopefully gets you more business. So as we come towards the end of the presentation, I think I only have one more slide. If you leave today's presentation or today's little hangout sesh with anything, just remember that AI is a foundation for the things that you're creating. It is not the final project. Please, please, please don't send, post, or use anything that AI gives you without reading it first or having somebody else read it. Definitely a great rule of thumb. It is okay to have imperfections. It's human. People know that if something is 1,000% perfect, then AI probably did it. So it's okay to have errors. It's okay that it's not exactly how it should be because that's what makes it personalized and perfect for you. And also with anything, whether it be social media, AI, or really any marketing strategy, it's all about trial and error. So try some different strategies. If you learned something new or saw an example that you haven't tried yet from this presentation, go ahead, take a chance, give it a try. If it doesn't work, try it a few more times before you completely give up, because you never know what's going to stick and what's really going to work for you. Um, Before I go into my frequently asked questions that I feel like I get a lot, does anybody have any questions or wanna talk about anything? 'Cause I can kick it off with some of mine. Anybody? Cool.
I have a question. I think there was something that you were referencing earlier about, like, I tend to have, I'm trying to post more content, right? And using AI to like give you ideas and things that you might post, but also not exactly taking it verbatim. Can you maybe like speak to that a little bit more? I guess loan officers, they have this thing called call reluctance, right? Where you don't, you sometimes you're hesitant to make a whole bunch of phone calls. Maybe you don't know what to say. So I feel a similar thing with social media. I've posted a few things, like I made kind of my own series called "What One Thing About Me," and I kind of like just used it as a way to like be like, here's my personality. I'm very sensitive. I'm very outgoing. I like to blabber my, I did one with one of our processors, but like, I kind of need to balance that. I don't want to spam the algorithm, but it's also like no content is too much. But
Mhm.
so maybe AI could help me with that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let me hop back to this past slide, see if it sticks. So this is a sample that I did, and especially if you just wanna get a starting point of a calendar of industry related content. You can put that in here. You can expand on that and say more about you, what you're looking for. You could be like a mix of reels, posts, and stories. And it'll give you kind of a general starting point.
Mm,
Obviously, there's a lot going on here. Maybe that's some of it's not going to work. You can play around with it, tweak it, but maybe one of these things really catches your eye, like a, let's see, da, 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 like a market insight or a market update. So you're like, that's a really good point. And then you can ask it to give you some more inspo on that. Or maybe you want more posts about first time buyers. You can ask the like Gemini or Chat GPT or whatever AI tool you're using and ask it to create. I usually ask for more than I want. So I'd be like, give me 10 post ideas about that are geared towards first time home buyers in Hampton Roads,
mm,
and then it'll give you some suggestions, and it may not be the best. Of those 10, you probably get 2. Okay, well, then you get to play around with those 2, and then maybe you start getting the gears turning, and you can create content that you actually would wanna see or that you like or that it works for you that you didn't even need AI for. Or you can ask it to create more, it just kind of keeps it going. So, this is usually what I like to do, is asking it for a calendar for inspiration.
nice.
This one's targeted for a month, but you could do for a theme. Ask it to create you a series targeted on the ABCs of mortgage and real estate, and it'll create you all those prompts too. So,
Yeah.
And I think it's also important, David, and for everybody to stay in your own social, like look in your own networks and see what's interesting to you. What has captured your attention? What are you reading all the way through? Did you look at comments on something? And what is interesting to you is going to be interesting to people who want to work with you too. So take those things as elements and go, well, I really liked this. How can I put this toward my business? How could I use this to attract a new listing in a neighborhood? How could I use this to, get back in my past client database routine? So take those things that you like, the things that you're interested in, and use those to capitalize on your marketing strategy. Make sure that you have that like 90-10-10 rule, and you're mixing business and pleasure, and have your assistant. I mean, it's, don't think about it as a bot, think about it as your, assistant. Have your assistant help you with, curating that and turning it into a plan. I think that's for all of us. I mean, funny enough is over the years, I mean, I see David Phillips on here, and him and I have known each other for like, I don't know, 20 some years. And back in the day, we would, you didn't have anyone helping you create a planning or strategy on what's going on and how you're going to get new listings, how you're going to get new buyers, how you're going to do these things. Well, now you have all of this, and it's almost a little overwhelming. We all sit there and go, well, it told me to do 15 things, and I don't know where to start. So make sure you're like you're asking your assistant to, like, baby steps here. Show me what I should be doing Monday through Friday. How should I, be connecting with my social network on the weekends, and coming up with that game plan, and the content creation and that strategy is just going to help you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. Great
Yeah,
point,
because
Wendy.
I've seen the the influencers, on TikTok especially, they all kind of tell you like post as much as possible. And I've talked about it with people on here, and I was like, that makes sense, and you got to listen to them because they obviously know what they're talking about. But it's also like, we're professionals, so like, I'm not sure if that vibe exactly would work with my, I think I want to give something
Mhm.
that's of value, and do that consistently as opposed to like here's me doing the new thing, like I'm not
Yeah.
trying to.
Yeah, you
Right,
definitely want to
exactly.
always be valuable, but you also have to be genuine and authentic. People do
Exactly.
business with people they like.
Yeah, that's why I did the thing. I don't know if any of y'all seen the videos that I did. It was basically like, hey, this is me. I'm like this, and when this happens, I'm like that. And usually it's like a minute of like me just kind of talking about myself a little bit.
But I mean, I think that works great. Anything that's more personal than just sharing, like graphics. If your whole feed is graphics, personally, you've lost me. So
Yeah,
again, like Wendy mentioned, sharing content that you would want to see is pretty much what the similar people that you would ideally want to work with also want to see. So
there's an
that
agent group who I won't say who they are, but it's like a real estate agent group that's around here, and I followed them on social media for a while, and I noticed at some point this summer, all their posts started looking the same. And I kind of realized I was like, oh, like these are probably AI posts. And their posts don't get any engagement. There's like no comments at all. So I was like, all right, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to put up posts just for the sake of posting them and not having like a single like or feedback. That kind of defeat. I feel like that's not the
Mhm.
strategy. Even though you got
Yeah.
something up and it looks nice and it's got words on it or whatever, but you know, it's not
Yeah,
exactly
I think it goes back to, like, what you had mentioned about not wanting to overshare, and how some influencers definitely say the strategy is post 5 times a day, post
yeah,
on TikTok all the time.
right.
Well, at that point, you're just posting to post, and it doesn't add value. If it's not adding value to you, it's probably not adding value to your followers, so it's
Yeah,
definitely okay to not post as much, to post that really high, rich, genuine content.
yeah. Like there's a difference between being a loan officer and being
A
somebody that's
TikTok,
trying to be famous for being famous. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Great question. I feel like that really got the conversation going. Does anybody else have anything? Any other questions? I know one I feel like I see a lot, and that's why I put on my little FAQ here is, do I need to be tech savvy to use AI? No. If you can type a search or just type in your computer, or even like Wendy mentioned, just voicing it out, you should be good to use AI. So definitely anybody can do it. It's a good starting point. But again, if you're doing it, do it right and check before you post or say. Will AI replace real estate agents or really any professional? No. Again, we don't want to feel like the world to be taken over by robots. AI is just a tool. Wendy said best. It's your assistant. It's here to help you. It is not going to take over. How should I start? If you end today's presentation, go to ChatGPT or Gemini, which talk about in a sec. Try it out. I mean, you can try them both out, see which one is going to work best for you. Add a few searches to see what it gives you and how you like it and the results it's giving. Um, Ask it, like David mentioned, ask it for some social content inspiration. Ask it to write an email. I mean, you can ask it to write a text to your best friend just to see what it gives you. Get some inspiration, play around with it. Because again, it's just here to help you, and I don't foresee it going away anytime soon. And then lastly, ChatGPT or Gemini. I'm hardcore Gemini. That's just what I like to use, and it's all saved within my Google account. But I also like that it's backed by Google and their interface, so it gives some different real time results that I just find to be more real. So that's just my preference, but ChatGPT is also a great resource as well. So again, try them out, see what you like best.
Cheryl
Where
has a question. She's asking, where all do you post content?
Are you working in here today? Okay, I'm just gonna put
There we go. I feel like that is like a really big question. I guess it just really
Yeah.
depends on where, uh, or if you're not on social media, where you want to get started. So we could go into a whole nother social media conversation because I love social media, but um, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, usually the three, or TikTok are the four big ones of where you could be posting content, but it really just goes into what kind of content are you posting? If it's more video, you're probably doing Instagram and TikTok. If it's more image, probably Instagram and Facebook. More professional stuff is LinkedIn. People probably aren't posting to LinkedIn as regularly as they would the other platforms. It's just a professional networking site. But it's really all about what you're most comfortable with. I wouldn't say just posting to post on all these platforms just because you can. Do what you're comfortable with to make it work for your strategy, because social is all about building relationships, telling your stories, and making connections and engaging with other people's profiles. This is going to help you succeed there. So, uh,
And using
definitely,
and for real estate agents using business pages, they can do from
exactly.
Facebook to Instagram and not have to worry about,
Mhm.
coming up with different, different copy for the two of them. They're going to be different audiences, especially as you guys are, your past clients, people that you've worked with. You're going to have different generations and sitting in different channels.
Exactly. Well, that is all that I have. I don't have any extra little questions in here, nothing new. Does anybody else have any questions or anything that they want to talk about with the great big conversation that is AI?
How often do you see something posted and you're like, oh my gosh, that's totally AI?
I saw something posted right before I hopped on this call.
Every day. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like,
Right before I hopped on this call, and I was like, "That's an AI post right there." And if I had to, like, send it to some of my friends. I was like, "Did you see this post that someone we know posted?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah. No, that's an AI. They didn't write that." And you can read it, and you're like, "That's
Yes.
it's a little crazy."
Don't you feel like there should be some a little bit of balance to it? You wanna
Yeah.
do you ever find that you had to push back on AI? Like sometimes it is too confident. Oh, heck yeah.
Yes. That's why we
Oh,
have to ask
yeah.
it, we gotta review first. I don't trust, as much as Gemini is, like, my best friend, I don't trust her word over mine. So she gets a little too confident sometimes, so you gotta review and reread and proof it, or ask it to rewrite it because I didn't like her first response. I'm like, "You should do that again."
I felt like one of my responses was pretty rude the other day, and I was like, "Do you think I'm in a bad mood?" And the response was pretty funny, but it's like, "Ugh, I mean, I feel like you're being a little sassy today." But yeah, I definitely think it's a little overconfident. I also think that, AI has a lot to say. So, going in there and when they send you out a dissertation that you could have turned in for your college, English essay, make sure you're asking it to shorten, sweeten it, make it more clever, make it sound more like you. Make sure you're using those prompts because, you only have the attention of a subject line. So make sure your subject line is great. Make sure you have some pre-header text if you're sending some emails out, and that your first sentence is the action and you're grabbing the attention, because otherwise you've lost them anyway and you did all of that work, or your assistant helped you do all of that work and it was just too long-winded. So remember, you only have a brief amount of time to get the attention of anyone at any channel, whether it's email or social or video, it doesn't matter.
Somebody added a great thing, which actually it's funny because it's as myself, but it's not me, but it's literally exactly what I said, and what I noticed with that last post I was talking about is not to use the long dash, because AI loves when it adds a little dash, which
Mhm.
no, I feel like normal person uses that dash that many times in a sentence, or like a formal, well-written sentence. And it does really like to use that. So when I reread, I'm like, oh, that should be a comma, not a dash. Or how can I rework that so it doesn't have that long dash in there? That's a really good point. And
So
Cheryl asked,
Cheryl wants to hear from an agent peer. Who can we pick on?
who wants to unmute and add some.
Unmute and share what's been successful from using AI from the real estate world. And David, you know I see you, so I can definitely pick on you.
I'd be happy to. I'm just getting into it.
Good. Okay.
I started with the Chat GPT several years ago when it first came out. One of my home inspectors told me all about it. He was super excited, and it was great for helping me write remarks and copy and everything else. And that's all I did for probably a couple of years. And recently, the developments in AI and all the different apps out there, for example, the Gemini one that you talked about, um, really leaps and bounds have jumped ahead in a lot of ways from my experience with ChatGPT because Gemini is Google and Google is pretty much everything online as far as images goes. I've discovered that it draws from its platform, which is gazillions of images that they have access to. And just recently, I put a golfer on the golf course for my golf view listing, and it didn't look like a stick figure. It actually looked like a real golfer was on the golf course teeing off on the tee box. And I told it at first, it was a little too cartoonish. I told it the colors were too bright for its clothing, and it kept making adjustments. And it didn't have 14 eyes and 3 arms and a tail sticking out of it. It was a real person, it looked like, on the golf course.
That is
So,
amazing. That's awesome.
so I was excited. So you can't break it, just play with it.
Yeah. That is a great point. I think I'm going to use that.
Mhm.
You can't break it, just play with it. That's amazing. I love that. Thank you for
Yeah, that is
sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love the image creator, the way it creates images and builds that out exactly how you want it. I've now gotten good to spot different things. Like sometimes it adds 6 fingers on one hand. So definitely if you have a zoom up of somebody and you're creating images that way, check their hands before you post them because AI loves to add fingers to hands. I don't know why. That's its little like hidden watermark that it's fake. Um, it will eventually create it with normal fingers, or I guess with 5 fingers. But I have noticed that too. But that is really cool.
I did also
Anyone?
notice when it was redoing the house picture and the golf course views, I told it to hang a hammock in the treed backyard, which it did, which was really cool. And the more I told it to amend the front photo of the house, it was doing things that I didn't even ask it to do. For example, I wanted it to get rid of a pod in the driveway and to show a second door on the garage, which was blocked by the pod. And when it did that, it actually also changed um, the lights on the exterior of the home, the outdoor lights that are on either side of the door and everything like that. And I didn't ask it to do that. So I had to really pay attention to what it was correcting because it does have a mind of its own sometimes. And even though I told it to do one thing, it also did something else. And the more I gave it orders, the more it kind of took free will to do what it thought might look good. So at some point you can really jack it up. But again, it's kind of fun to see where it goes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great. That's
100%.
great feedback.
All right. Does anybody have anything else? I would love to sit here and chat more about AI, but I definitely don't want to keep anybody if we don't have any more questions or comments to make.
This was
All
really
right.
great, Peyton. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Well,
And
thank you.
and we will send out the recording too. So
Mhm. Yep, we will have that recording sent out. It'll be on YouTube. So if you follow us on YouTube, definitely check us out. It should be up in a few minutes. But we'll send an email out just to let everybody know. You should get it by tomorrow. With that recap, but thank you everybody for joining us and everyone who participated. Thank you for talking about AI with us today. Hope you learned something new, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
All right, great job, Peyton. Thank you.
Thank you.